Hi guys, welcome to The World is Your Bowl of Noodles, Slurp Noodles and Chat. I am the host, Jordan Ibukwe, and today my guest is Brendan Brown, founder, CEO, and the host of Development Podcast, the owner of Development Brand, two-time best-selling author, YouTuber, and a motivational speaker. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Like and share, and stay tuned for more. All right, Brendan, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do?
All right, well, my name is Brendan Brown. I'm a podcast host. I started podcasting since the age of 14 back in 2020. And then from then on, I expanded and launched into a YouTube channel in 2022. And then from then on, in 2023, I launched my first book, which is Do You Need Any Help? Self-Improvement 101 Advices. And the next video after that, next book I launched after that, was my second book called Brilliant Ambitions, Skills to Help Build Your Drive for Success. And right now, I'm working on a third one that's planning to be in works and get launched this year as it's recording in 2025. So hopefully that get launched and be a three-time instead of a two-time best-selling author.
That is amazing. Being an author is just like an amazing goal to like reach, especially having like two books. That is an amazing like milestone and just like amazing thing that you did. But I want to understand like what inspired you to become a motivational speaker for young people?
It all got inspired because of the fact that I became, and I just realized this later on down the life, the other day ago, that I was head president of a beta club at my school back in middle school. I got elected around seventh grade year, eighth grade year. I was getting ready to do my speech. Did my first ever speech, spoke in front of thousands of people. It was really scary, but I really enjoyed it, and it boosted my confidence as a leader. And so from doing that, I then was excited to do more challenges, more tests to get myself out there to be more sociable because I was so introverted my whole life. And from going into middle school, that's when the sprinkle or seed of me being an extrovert started coming in. And then when COVID hit, that really messed me up. And so then I was just making content, experimenting with different things. Then around the time when I was a freshman, my high school year, around the 2020-21 season, I was in this class struggling, and my teacher, she was inspiring us, to keep going. And so I felt bad until eventually I understood what I was doing with the math stuff in Algebra 1. And from me doing what I did, I inspired my other classmates and peers. And from doing that, it led to me creating this signature quote, which is called, "If you're determined to do it, you'll be disciplined to do it." And that right there, with also in 2021, me deciding to do motivational content, inspired me to be a motivational speaker.
I very much touch on your being an introvert. All my life, I was like I was an introvert, but like I was afraid to make my voice be heard because I was afraid of being criticized. And that's like very like now that I'm a little bit older, I have much more of like an open voice, but still like I feel like a lot of kids out there don't have a voice that they can like, tell how they feel. And so seeing people like us, our age, speaking the truth, telling the importance of making your voice heard is very important, especially in this generation. On your clothing brand, because I did see one of your posts, you highlight on it faith plus works. And I want to understand because I am a Christian as well. I believe in God and I believe that faith can drive a lot of things. But I want to understand why is faith so important and why should we cling on to it more?
Because of the fact that, it's what keeps you going. Faith is what's needed in order for things to be out there. Faith is the substance of things hoped for,
Exactly.
evidence of things not seen. That's in the scriptures of the Bible, and also that's just a definition of faith in general. If you're not a Christian person or anything like that, but for anyone, that faith plus work quote I have on my clothing brand came by the inspiration of my quote, which is faith plus work equals success. And so it's such a good thing and such a truthful thing because, you need the faith in order to get the work done. Because without the faith,
Right.
it's going to be dead. Without the works, it's going to be dead. You need faith and works for it to come to life. And that's where faith plus work got inspired from. The scripture of that Bible talking specifically about faith and works being needed, but also because it was also a quote I made as well a few years ago that was similar to that meaning of faith plus work, if that answered your question.
Yes, very much, because faith is very important. We need faith plus our actions. And I feel like God doesn't judge by, he judges by the heart, but he wants to
Mhm.
see us using our faith, doing stuff, but we have a faith driven to for those stuffs to happen. But I know like faith, we do face a lot of obstacles because in life, when something hits you, you want to just like doubt, you want to like say, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if God's going to make it happen. And so, like, what in those times of self doubt, I want to know from you because I know both of us, we struggle with stuff in life, in our journeys as we're growing, becoming more wiser, becoming more knowledgeable. So, how do we not allow setbacks or challenges to affect us and diminish our confidence?
By just being aware of what's going on. You know, when you talk about that, how to be aware of your setbacks and be aware of just any trial and tribulations, don't be afraid of it, but be ready to endure it because that's where it goes back to what I'm saying here again. Hopefully, I'm not being repetitive here, but the
Oh,
faith plus
no.
works come in. You have to be able to endure what's going in. For a while, with me personally, dealing with internal things I've dealt with from people I've interacted with, rather if it's a relative or friend, I've always said, "Why God? Why God? Why God? Why God?" But instead, I shouldn't be saying why, but I should be saying where. That W. Where should I go? What should I do? Not why am I going through this? Because it's there to build you up to being the best person you can be. That's the point of my
Yes.
podcast, Development Pod, is to develop you to keep on growing into whatever you're doing, rather if it's your purpose or if it's just something that you're just trying to do in your life that you're dealing with that bad day, that dark time, and make sure you can get up there and rise up. So everything we go through, we shouldn't just, like I say, be afraid of it, but we should be ready to endure it because it's going to build you up even as a stronger person.
Exactly. We need those hard times to give us like to prepare us for, I always say this, whenever you're dealing with a struggle, it's preparing you for what's to come for you. Even when God is like holding, because you know your destiny is in God's hands. No one can take that away from you. But the thing is that God is preparing you for that destiny. The condition you are in now might not be the condition you will be in 3 months or 6 months, but you'll be better, you'll be wiser, you'll be more stronger to endure whatever challenge faces your way because you've dealt with these challenges in the past and you figured a way to overcome them either through faith or whatever you believe in. But it's all important that you carry something with you, something like that's why I always believe that we need guidance,
Mhm.
especially young people. We need guidance. We need someone to like help us maneuver through life itself. And because I feel there's a lot of stuff saying that our generation is lazy. It's like we're always relying on like phones and everything like that. But I want to know from you, is that true?
So with that, I really believe it's a perspective thing. Because I don't honestly think that Gen Z is lazy. This is what I always believe personally for me. Growing up in a household that's very traditional. And now they understand what I'm saying here. But most people, they copy what other people do. That's how I look at it. A lot of people copy what other people do. Half of them, I'll say, not most of them. And when you do that, you're going to expect less results because you're trying to get results that somebody else already gotten. And you can't do what other
Exactly.
people did. You can only do what you can do. Then you also have those people that generally are passionate for what they want to do, and people put them down for what they want to do, and they're trying their best to do what they can do. Then number three, you have the people that's trying to go for society, and they're not even living their life, and so now they're living in regret, and so that's why now they're being more repetitious about I don't want to go to college, I don't work a 9 to 5, and so to really pinpoint what I'm trying to say here is that I don't agree fully with it. I'm a person, I've always been on the fence with things. And so how I see it is just that, like, it really depends on the person. But for me personally, I would say that Gen Z is not lazy because of the fact that, like, we have so much options. We have so much things to do out here. And even now, as it's getting bigger with AI and everything, you have so much different ways to make money. I mean, look at me, for example. I have 2 books, working on my third one, trying to get that out there. In the past, when I was still in my earlier days of starting my podcast, I was using affiliate marketing and sponsorships through Anchor at the time before it became Spotify for creators now. And like it's it's not hard for kids these days or young adults these days or teens to make money. And so I just personally
Right.
feel you shouldn't put them down for it. Now, if they're a person that's very arrogant or a person that just demands that they should just be taken care of by somebody, then that's when you can probably get a little against them because they are doing bad. But if it's a person who's genuinely in someone else's house, trying to pursue their passion and craft and work hard on what they do so that they can succeed and move out and enjoy their life for them, don't get mad at that. Encourage them, help them. You know, some people they might have to work a job in order to get what they got to get to, but some people they might can just be at their parents' house their earlier years, and then by the time they turn 18, they might already be a successful entrepreneur or successful whatever due to help of social media, or maybe by then be that. And then sometimes, like I say, it takes a while and may take it in even in their 20s or 30s. So, like I say, it's more of a perspective thing, but I just want to break it down so that I can let everybody know who's watching this, like, hey, you do have those that are bad, but you do have those that are good. That's all it is, man.
It is. I feel like there's some teens who are really minded, like who are goal set, who have a dream, and who will go. For example, my podcast, I interview a lot of young-minded individuals like you who are goal driven, who have dreams, who are inspired, who are determined to work hard to get to their goals and everything. And there's some kids who just don't want to do anything. They just want to rely on people helping them. But I feel like it can go either way, especially in every single generation. We've always had the hardworking people, and we've always had, the people who do want to work. But I feel like Generation Z is more out like spoken about what they want, and they have like a dream and they're gonna get it. I've talked to a lot of people, and they say like I feel like this generation is so much more active in like dreams and just what they want for the future. And I'm like, yes, because we are the future. One day we're gonna be taking this planet and we're gonna have all the power in our hands to either fix it or the opposite. But what do you think we do struggle with, like our generation? If I don't know if that's redundant, but what do you think we do struggle with?
I think we struggle with these three things here: identity, mental health, and peer pressure. I think those all play a role together as three in one because you have people that want to try to do what other people want to do. They try to copy what these fictional characters are, especially us as young men, which is not a bad thing, but we try to mimic what fictional characters are. We try to mimic what these big alpha males are, and we lose their identity, especially with sometimes even the women as well. I've seen it. They sometimes lose their identity because you have these kids that are going on, you know, these young gals that are going on OF. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. These young gals going on OF. I'm sorry to say it like that. You know, you got some of these young gals trying to be on TikTok doing certain dances to try to get attention. And so these girls are losing their identity because they're just thinking that all he is a toy to a young man when they're not. And for us dudes, we trying our best to be who we be, and then sometimes we lose our identity because we're trying to be like these alpha dogs, or we try and just do what this one doing. And you shouldn't idolize no human being, especially any toxic human being that has toxic quote unquote masculinity. You should be aware. And so I think it's that. Then with the mental health, you have so much people that's dealing with stuff post COVID, and then you have a lot of people that are just so isolated because all they're doing is being on this phone. And I'm not saying that as an old head or unk, quote unquote, our generation like to say, but it's just that, everybody's so stuck on the digital stuff that they're not trying to get in person. And I feel like this right here can be a gateway to getting in person because if you put both together, things will go great. And then the last one is peer pressure. And you're probably thinking peer pressure from students, from peers? No, 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 no. Peer pressure from parents because you have so much expectations to want to do for your parents, for what you want your parents to love, what you want your parents to enjoy, what you want your parents to see you do. And instead of trying to do what they tell you to do, have it as a suggestion and think about it. Even with your friends, think about it. See where it goes. See how it helps out. If it doesn't help you, don't do it. You see me. If I would listen to my family years ago and just say, well, this podcast is a side thing, I'm not worrying about it, I would have never became the person I would become. If I never had the confidence to endure, and there were some days, I'm going to be real with you on this podcast interview, we argued because of this podcast. If I never told him to stand my ground for what I'm doing, I would never be the person I'd be right now. I would never be the confident motivational speaker I am. I would never be the two-time author I would be if I never had the encouragement of not just myself, but from what I personally believe is God and the people that He put in my life to encourage me because my relatives, or maybe there were some friends maybe that didn't support what I do or didn't see me eye to eye. It didn't have to necessarily be podcasting, it could be anything, because you have so much people, our peers or anyone, that can just be jealous of what you do. But overall, I think it's just those three things: identity, mental health, and peer pressure, because everybody is now just so, stung by everything. And it's like, oh, this and that, this and that, this and that. And everything on the news you don't have to react to. Everything you see on the news you don't have to react to. If you're a young man right now, just do what you're doing. Be productive. Do what you gotta do. Build yourself up into being the right man you gotta be. Don't follow the crowd. Don't follow what the news say. Be yourself and be the right man you could be. And once you be that right man, eventually you'll find that love of your life, because a lot of these young men now are just saying like it's hard to find girls. They'll find the right girl if they build themselves up to get the right girl they can get. And for the young ladies, vice versa. They just gotta build themselves up and don't worry about the TikTokification of how everything is. Don't be like these TikTok girls or these OF girls. Just be yourself, and the right guy will come. And I think that's where it's messing up, because everybody's just trying to copy what this person doing and not being themselves.
Oh, that makes a very much a lot of sense because I feel like it also deals with comparison. We are such a I feel like social media has made us so envious. Like we want this, we want that. When we see someone with a new car, we're like, "Oh my gosh, I want to have that car." But really, do you want to have the car or do you want to just have that same validation as that person is getting? And I feel like a lot of, especially with girls too, we deal with, and also with guys, comparison is equal on both sides. We all want to compare each other, like, is she prettier than me, is he smarter than me, it's like, and then we all want to be like that person instead of ourselves, and that just hinders our like destiny, our potential. And when we try to copy and paste that, we lose our originality. I talked about that in my podcast with Arya about being who you are and staying ground to your own morals, because we're not all the same person. God did not build us to look exactly like everyone else. He built us all uniquely different, to have different morals, to have different ideas, and we're all skillfully made to be different and unique. And so it shouldn't be a problem that we all have to like it shouldn't be like a big deal to like be different, but in this society we've made it so like important to be the same, to look the same, to act the same, that it's like you can't be yourself without being criticized. But what advice would you give to someone, a young teenager like us, who is dealing with comparison or self-doubt or just failure?
I would tell them it's all right. It's okay, because when you don't have a resource or a person that guides you, it's gonna be hard. Because even for me, my first years of podcasting during COVID, I realized who was really there for me and who wasn't there for me. Because I was sheltered my whole life till 2020. 2020, I was locked in, of course. And before COVID, I used to get out every now and then for school events, little things like that. As I got a little bit older in my middle school years, I got out a little more. I was closed in. When 2022 hit, I got back in person. And so I was able to socialize more, do things around high school, and now look at me now, I'm 25, I'm more sociable. And why I'm saying all this, because you're probably saying, well, get to the point here. This is where I'm at now. It's hard because you don't have nobody. You're thinking, okay, what do I need to do? Who do I need to listen to? If you're a person of faith, listen to God. Let God lead you to the right person. Because, of course, people like to say, oh, believe in God. God isn't the only person that's there to help you. He's the ultimate, but he has people out there for you.
Amen.
Pray for the people that you want to come by your side. And if you're not a person of faith, go out there and network, especially on your phone now. Because with the phone now, we got so much things now in this digital world now. Network, because that's what I've done. I'll really say that being online, having social media, people say it's a negative thing. It was a positive thing for me, because when I was at my lowest points, I had people there I could have chat with, talk with. Even people who were there in person that I've known during COVID. I talked a little bit with them as well, because there were some days where I had to deal with toxic relatives, toxic people, and I had to realize, okay, hey, maybe I might need to just talk with some other people. And I did that to take some breaks. Even to this day, I'll still do that whenever there's bad moments. And that's what you gotta do. Find the right people. Don't let them persuade you. Don't let them get you into the wrong stuff, because I've had friends that try to quote unquote persuade me, but I never got into the wrong stuff. And you gotta know who to hang with and who not to hang with, especially in person too, because when you have been locked in for like almost 3 to 4 years and you just got back in person talking, it is gonna be hard to like talk with people, socialize, this and that. But overall, for that, just just look for guidance or pray for guidance, and eventually you'll find the people. And it's a life cycle. Life is all about learning, and so it's gonna take a while for you to learn who to be around, who not to be around. But you'll find your glue as you go.
And I feel like we've been talking about like how to like surpass failure, but not, I don't even feel like failure is a bad thing. I feel like
Yeah,
failure is a teachable moment for you.
yeah,
It humbles you very much, but it teaches you what not to do in the when something happens. And it helps and it makes you stronger. So take that as like the person who's watching this now, take his advice. Failure is not something bad. It's actually very beneficial for humans because it teaches us a lesson in the journey as we're walking. But I wanted to talk more about success because I feel like success can mean a lot of things for a lot of people. But I want to hear from you. How would you define success to young people?
well, I was gonna actually talk about failure, but I guess it's gonna add in with it. Success comes with failure. You have to fail to succeed. And so even with me, you're probably looking at me like, Brennan, you seem like a happy person. When I was going through those early COVID years of being locked in with some toxic relatives at the time, I used to be angry. I used to be a person that get mad. I would literally like. I'm not saying I would punch this computer, but that's the energy I would have. I would punch the computer and get mad. And it took me till 2023 to really figure out, okay, I can't be this person to get hype, to get mad at people. I have to cool myself down and pray that I do better. And I made a vow since 2023. And even to this day, I still don't do it like how I used to. Don't get mad like how I do. And that's where the success comes in. The success, you'll have bruises, scars, this and that. But they will heal. Because at the end of the day, some things that you go through in this life journey, it's going to make you want to fight. It's going to make you sometimes want to lose control. And you got to know how to get yourself into control, because the ship is going, it's moving. And you got to keep on paddling in that storm. Don't get too loose to where you fall in that water, because if you do that, you're going to be messed up. You got to keep on staying consistent, even when it looks bad. You're going to feel bad at times. You are, because we're human. But you got to keep going through, because either you go in, you go through, you get what's out there, or you go in, you get in there, and you just keep falling, falling, falling. That's how I'm looking at it with success. That's how I see it with success in my analogy there.
And I feel like success, to me, success is when you find ultimate happiness, ultimate joy. Like when you, and it's like, I feel like we define success as like having a lot of money, having a lot of cars, house. Sometimes success for people could just mean I don't know, having a wonderful like just being happy, like having so much peace, having good health. Being successful is it can be risky, but God guides us through that life and helps us become successful in his power, of course, by his will. But I know in wrapping up this interview, I always like ask like funny little questions here and there, but I wanted to know what is your favorite bowl of noodles?
What do you mean by that bowl of noodles?
Well, it can be anything. It can be a bowl of macaroni, a bowl of pasta. I mean, I don't know. People take it some way,
Oh, a
somehow when
bowl, a
they,
bowl, a bowl. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, my favorite bowl will be a bowl of rice. This kind of ironic here because, you asking that question is kind of similar on another interview I was on with Neama Armstrong. He asked the same thing, like, what's your favorite dessert? And that was at the beginning of the interview. It's kind of funny because you asked me what's my favorite bowl at the end of this interview. So I'll say rice because, hey, I always love a bowl of rice with chicken, some nice chicken wings, really good.
I bet you're the first person like who's actually said not noodles. That's really interesting. Maybe instead of noodles, I'll say food. But I don't know. But if you had to pick at least like maybe a noodle, what would it be?
Oh, okay, my bad. I got it confused. I thought you said like any bowl of anything. So for a bowl of noodles, I don't really eat noodles. I don't like noodles, but hey, for this podcast here, I'm gonna be nice with you. I'll just get a plain bowl of noodles.
Thank you. That's perfect. But thank you so much, Brendan. Your words are very wise. You are a very smart individual. And I pray that you keep going and don't lose faith in what you're doing because you're doing a fabulous job. And don't lose hope in your dreams because God is guiding you through the right path, my friend. And just keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much. And one thing I just want to say before we end this podcast show is just that for anyone who's dealing with adversity, because right now this is just, I don't know why this year it's just making me think about that. That's just the main thing I'm just talking about recently, just adversity. But there's other things I've done, in the past that had me been successful right now that really helped in my success. But right now I just want to talk about the adversity spectrum is that whoever is against you right now, rather if it's a relative, a friend, whoever it is, please don't hold any grudges because even for me, at one point it was like I was holding in grudges at some points and I had to realize I can't do that. And it took me till 2023 or around 24 to really have compassion and really show that, whoever it is, you got to love them, even if it's a family member, because it's a hard thing when it's a person who's going against you and you constantly keep on being nice and then you feel like it's time to give up on them. Don't give up because you don't know what walk down the life they might change and they may actually appreciate what you do. And even for that, for the people who are being negative to somebody, don't do that, but don't be negative to them because you don't know when they might need you. You just don't know how, in my opinion, from a man of faith perspective, you don't know how God can really, change things and have things be, and you got to be aware of that. That's all I can say from that. So,
Amen. That's amazing advice. And personally, yes, don't doubt anyone's dreams because you don't know how far God will take that person, and that person could one day actually help you. But you don't.
hmm
But you might have lost a moment because you might have said something about their dreams, and they'll remember it. I feel like people, we don't forget. We might
oh
have
yeah,
forget like. We don't forget. Sometimes we might forget like how specifically the moment went, but we don't forget how it felt. And so it sticks with you, especially words, and words are very important. But I tell it to all my viewers out there, be kind to everyone you meet, even your enemies, because God says, love thy enemy like thy friend. Even when
hmm
your enemy is hungry, give them food. Even then when they're hungry, give them water. And so you just be a kind person to all, and God will bless you abundantly. But thank you so much, Brendan, for sharing your words. And before you leave, I wanted to know, are you still doing your podcast?
yes, I am. I know as it's recording, it's been up and down, up and down. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna give y'all some exclusive stuff. So what's been going on here is just that I've been doing college work while also doing content creation work, and so recently I took like 2 weeks off of just doing everything to relax my brain and my mind. And so with having college work, it's been a lot because it's kind of taking me back to how I was in high school, doing high school work and getting content out there. At least around that time, I was able to get more content out there because I could have balanced it out. But with school, it's just like, it's a lot. And so I'm being really real and transparent with you guys here. In my opinion, I just feel like I really just want to do this content creation more full time and don't do the college work as much. But I know that I have to do that in order to, get where I need to get to. I don't feel like it's a have to, but I just feel like for me personally, maybe I might need to just keep on going that path for that because you don't want to just make a big risk and do what you gotta do. Even though I'm 19 years old, I still have life to do what I gotta do. You don't want to just go straight on and do what you gotta do. But for me personally, I know in my brain, I would love to just go full time with this content creation. Just continue to just go work a job, find a job, and go work that, and build up from that instead of just be at somebody's campus and do what I have to do. That's just for me, in my own opinion, how I'm looking at it right now. Because with this college work, it's really been interfering with the content creation, and they can't collect with each other. And so I'm not discouraging nobody because I'm always a person who believes that you can succeed with or without college. But for me personally, I'm just thinking as it's recording that it may be time to just let that college thing go because I'm already doing business. Why do I need to go to school for business if I'm already having like 5 years of experience doing content creation, operating businesses, this and that? So like it just don't make no sense because I know I can just work a job and just do that and have it be funded through that instead of just going to school and doing the content creation.
Well, I do believe we all have different ideas on content creation and also school. I want to go to school. I want to become a surgeon and get my degree, get my PhD. But I know some people have other ideas as well too, and that's honestly them. But as long as whatever makes you happy and fulfilled and satisfied, and that you feel happy and committed to doing it, then do it. Like, what's stopping you? But make sure that you're making valuable decisions and not letting anyone diminish that. But thank you so much, Brendan. You're an amazing person. Do not give up at all. Like you said, have faith and also do works. Combine them both. But thank you so much. You are a wise individual and keep shining a light on this platform.
Thank you so much.